All right, so in 2021, Ford relaunched the Bronco. This is the 6th generation of the Bronco. The first Bronco came out in the 60s, 66 or 67. Anyway, you can get a 2-door Bronco or a 4-door. You can get a manual transmission. You can only get a manual transmission with the EcoBoost 2.3 Mustang 4-cylinder engine. Then if you bump up to the 2.7, which is under the hood of this, it gets the 10-speed automatic, and also the Bronco Raptor, which is top of the line in Broncoville. That gets the 3-liter EcoBoost twin turbo. That's the same engine as the Explorer ST. It's a little over 400 horsepower and a little over 400 pound-feet of torque in the Bronco Raptor. This guy right here is at 325 and 400 with the 2.7. The 2.7 has pretty good heritage as well. That's the base engine in the Ford F-150, the 2.7 V6 twin turbo. All right, Bill Stroppe, Bob Stroppe, I will put his name in there because I do not want to show any kind of disrespect to this man. Back in the 60s, he was an off-road racer, and he used Ford Broncos because the first generation was real small, real lightweight. So he used those. Well, he won a few events, and then he won the Baja 1000, and he won that with a production Bronco that he kind of hodgepodge together. What I'm trying to say is that he didn't have any factory backing. Well, as soon as he won the Baja 1000, Ford decided to put him into Ford lore. He had backing then. And away the history and the story goes on. With this generation, the 6th generation Ford Bronco, there's a lot of special editions coming in the Bronco Sport, which is like the equivalent of like anybody from the 80s and the 90s. Remember the Bronco 2? Little small version of the Bronco. Well, they have a Bronco Sport, which is a small version of this, and they have a freewheeling edition. But anyway, there's going to be a whole bunch of different editions that they're going to have with these vehicles, I'm sure, as we roll through. Okay, let's start in the back and we'll work our way through. Whether it's a 2-door or a 4-door, it doesn't really matter. You've got the same kind of top options. You can have a hard top or a soft top. It does not have this big, huge sunroof, okay? And what I'm talking about over here in Jeepville and Wrangler 392ville, that is just like a big, huge moonroof, like a big sunroof. And that dude just slides all the way back to the back, kind of like a Volkswagen Beetle from the 60s and 70s, an old VW convertible. Trying to talk too fast, that's what happens. But anyway, the Bronco doesn't have that option. However, a few options that the Bronco does have. You can get a painted hardtop like this, or you can get the plastic looking hardtop, or you can get it black, painted black, just like if you have a white Bronco and then a black top, just to add a little contrast. But anyway, there are a couple different options as far as the hardtop. All right, the way that I think this is kind of supposed to be, and this is just my take on this vehicle. Imagine, now the guy won the Baja 1000. So he was grabbing bare sheet metal trying to finish the race and stuff. Because if you've ever watched a clip of the Baja 1000, that's grueling. Those vehicles go through hell, to say the least. But anyway, I think that's where we came up with the black hood. The white and the orange, I love it. Okay, let me give you a little breakdown of the colors. Casey, that's a lot of colors. 4 colors to be exact. All right, we got just a flat chalkboard black hood. The white, it's a white Bronco. The base body of it is a white Bronco. That is Oxford white. Then the orange. Anybody remember the Bronco Raptor? We've already kind of touched on a little bit. There's a paint code or a paint color called Code Orange. Code Orange, yeah. And that is Code Orange. That blue right there, that is Atlas blue. And the Atlas blue, you can see that on like Ford Mavericks. I've seen them on some F-150s. I don't know if I've ever seen one on an Explorer. That'd be a pretty Explorer. Anyway, so there's the color breakdown of it. And then the black is just to kind of show that it has been through it, I guess. It's just to play the whole part out. I don't know. What do y'all think about it? I'm tired of talking about it because I'm not going to do any help. All right, hard top, obviously it's the same type as anything. We got a little opening door right there. Also, Bronco, they have this shock right here. Over here on this big Jeep 392. I'm not trying to compare these two. I'm just using them because I can play off of them and show them different features that one of them doesn't have. See, the Jeep door, it doesn't have that shock. And with that big, huge 38 on there, that's a heavy, heavy door. And so if you're like parked on a real big incline, it might be hard to open that door. Some people aren't strong. Anyway, The little strut helps it jut the door out there. Okay, we've got, this is just some Christmas morning stuff right here. We've got under storage right there. There's your jack and all of that with your spare tire hanging out the back. Also, one of the big differences right here, sound bars. In Broncos, the sound bar, what is he talking about? The speakers. They call it the sound bar. In Broncos, it's in the back. So see the whole top through there? That's wide open. There's nothing going up through there. Over here on the Jeep, they do their sound bar in the center, so it's kind of like partitioned off between the front passengers and the rear passengers. I'll let you decide upon which way you like. Either way. All right, as far as putting the seats down, there's a whole bunch of stuff right here, floor mats and bags and all that, so these aren't going to go down very far, but you just pull that strap up and it lays down just like that. You got little lights back here. We've also got a 12 volt right there. Now, obviously, if you went up to a Raptor and things like that, you get a few more options. This is kind of middle of the road right here. This is more shock and awe as opposed to loaded, I guess. More looks as opposed to equipment. We could do that. We'll get to the price in just a second. All right, they brought that Atlas white on into the cab right here. We've also got the red stitching or the orange stitching going around. We're not a bunch of luxury here, like I said. So a lot of hard plastic, a lot of hard plastic. We got a little squishy squish right there, a little net down low right here. Something else. These doors, let me go over and use this driver's door right here. On Broncos, okay, see how Jeep doors, it's an entire door. The window is framed out, so it's a big thing right there. Okay, on Broncos, I like to call it a briefcase door. The window rolls down into the door. Then your nuts right here, just like the doors do come off. Casey, you don't know those doors come off. Where's the hinges? The hinges are the different. Instead of having it on the outside like a Jeep would, see, they got the exposed hinges right here on the Jeep. So instead of having that, Ford's got their hinges inside. So you just reach in here and pop your nuts off right there. And then, see, you put one hand right there and another hand right there, and you just lift that door up and the doors go in the back compartment right there. Now, there is a problem right here. Ford's been out of the game for a while, so they'll get there, okay? Jeep's been in the game for a long time. A long time. 1941, I think. Anyway, so when you take the top off and you take those doors off, and if you wanted to take your windshield off, you're gonna have some loose nuts and stuff. Well, you'll have to put your nuts in a Ziploc bag and then just throw them back here in the cargo department. Now, men, we know, see, women don't have to deal with this, but men, we don't want to put our nuts in a Ziploc bag. Over here in Jeepville, however, the difference in Jeepville is there's a place to put your nuts. Right there, there's your roof and your windshield nuts. There's your door hinge bolts and screws. It's not a big thing, but it just shows Jeep's been playing the game a long time. Places for your nuts. All right, moving back on along right here. We got old crap handles right there. We got a big juicy one right there. Up top, you've got your pre-wired switches right there, toggles. You winch, Baja lights, whatever. It's already pre-wired and all of that. Right here's all of your four-wheel drive functions, locking in differentials and things like this. This is your inside lock-em-up wheel. The Bronco doesn't turn very well. Okay, it's a bigger vehicle than like a Jeep. That one's a little bit different, but it doesn't turn that well. So what happens is you're going into like a tight turn. You press that button and it will lock and unlock the inside rear wheel just to kind of help you make that turn just a little bit faster. Cool little feature. Anyway, once again, the hard top panels and everything taken off. That's a big, massive hole up there. One thing else that's a little special to Ford Broncoville, these are vinyl seats. Now, you can get leather and suede if you want to, but think Baja. Don't think cheap leatherettes or something like that, like the new Charger, electric Charger. Those are vinylette. What do they call it? Leatherette. Well, this is real, by God, like boat vinyl. Sea-Doo, Four Winds, thick stuff. All right, window switches right there, goat modes. Let's go ahead and play with a few goat modes and get in here and give it just a little bit while we're in here. Got a little bit different Bronco theme going on right there. Big, massive screen, swing gate open, doors are open. Oh, Lord. Whoop, turn that down right there. We have no power anything, no power seats or any of that, so we manually do all of that. All right, let's get on past this. We know we've got stuff open. Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. We're going to play with a few Goldie modes. Normal, slippery when wet, moist. Now we're going into eco-efficient driving. The Bronco has changed to green. It's also changed the screen right there. Let's keep on scrolling through. Now we're going into sand, loose, dry sand. When we went into sand mode right there, we've also kicked on our tracks right there. So now we can have a look-see and see what all is going on. Let's keep on going. I think we can keep getting deeper. Oh, yeah, mud and ruts. Deep, rutted terrain. Stable bar disconnected. Oh, we're ready to do some juice now. Let's go again. I don't think we're done. Now we're Baja high-speed off-road driving. Now it's clicked us back into 4 high because we're going to be partly in the air, you know. Rock crawl. Now we're going into some serious stuff. We're shifting 4 low, top speed 3.5 miles per hour. I'm just joking. I don't know what the top speed is, but we've enacted 4 low, which means we're not going anywhere fast. We could, though, however, climb the side of a building. So there's all of our goat modes right there. Let's go ahead and put it on back into, let's just put it back into eco driving, shall we? All right, we don't have a wireless charging pad down there, but behind this little door, we got a USB-C and a USB-D right there. Let's go ahead and have our little camera package right here and see what camera options we've got. We've got the 360 degree right there. We've also got the look out the front. We've also got the 3-way and put it into reverse. Obviously, well, the door is open, so we're showing off somewhere in the space, but if the door was closed correctly, it would be there. All right, we got heated seats and a heated steering. We got dual climate control. What's your problem? There you go. Calm down, good buddy. All right, there's your window switches right there. Little glove box action going on right there, and a little center console. Nothing you've ever seen anything before. Take a look at the back seat. Sorry, all the Christmas morning stuff back there. This is a brand new car, so somebody's gonna get. This vehicle has a matte paint finish. Use care while working with or around this vehicle. Do not use automatic car wash. Ooh, that worries me for the paint on this vehicle. I'm not gonna lie. I hope whoever buys it takes care of it and spends the extra couple of seconds. All right, let's have a little look-see right here. Oh, pop the hood, Case, so we can see underneath the hood. Chalkboard black, that's what they're talking about. It's a matte black. So if you put wax and you don't, anyway, I guess that would scratch really bad. Oh, I hope somebody takes good care of it. Oh, let me prop my rod here. Hang on just 1 second. No hood struts. Hang on. All right, we're not going to spend a lot of time because we've already talked about it. 2.7 liters underneath the hood of this. I'm sure you could probably get a 2.3, or if you went up to the Raptor, you'd get a 3 liter. That's the only way you can get the 3 liter V6. The big engine is to go to the Raptor. I'm not going to, please don't hold me to the stroke being able to come into a 4-cylinder. Maybe the stroke is its own package and that's just the way it comes. I don't know. I haven't got to do a lot of research. This is the first one I have come across. All right, Casey. You've talked about how great it is and all of that. What's the damage? How much does something like this cost in 2025? I'm glad you asked. Let's do this. $78,255. The 2025 Ford Bronco Stroppe. 2-door, 4x4. Oxford white, unique vinyl black seats. We've got that 2.7 liter 10-speed automatic. There's all your normal options right there. Stroppe Edition is Equipment Group 564A. We've got an engine block heater for $190. We've got $135 for the accessory package. And for all the top storage and door bags, that's $400. We're getting 17 miles per gallon in the city, 18 on the highway. $78,255.